Hi, you guys. I am Miranda Pierce. I live in Kent, Washington, born and raised Pacific Northwest girl. I am a stay-at-home mama and former bling boss with Pierce's Paparazzi, and this is Making Yourself at Home. I am so excited to start this with you guys. If you followed my jewelry business, I've been social selling jewelry for the last 5 years, and as a part of that, I went live on Facebook at least once a week, if not more, like 4 or 5 times a week. So it was been really weird to not have that as I've transitioned away from that business. And so it's so nice to have a space where I can kind of share with you guys my thoughts and feelings and experiences. And honestly, you guys are the best sounding board, focus group, all the things. Your input has been so uplifting and empowering in my life over the last 5 years social selling. So I'm so excited to start this podcast because this has kind of been my brainchild for some time now. Um, some of you who follow my business would probably remember that one of the themes of my Facebook Lives was on Tuesdays, we would do a Tip Tuesday. Now, mostly it was jewelry related, right? It was fashion related. It was how to accessorize a certain outfit. It would be what colors were coming into season, that sort of thing. The last year or two of being in business, though, I felt this desire to shift away from Tip Tuesdays just being about jewelry. So we did Tip Tuesdays about staying active at home. We did Tip Tuesdays about fun activities, seasonal activities and crafts and things you could do with your kids. We did Tip Tuesdays about goal setting, lots of different things. So it kind of is, as much as I love fashion with a passion, because, and that rhymes, but because I know that there is a power that comes from looking and feeling your best. But I felt like that was just one piece of me. And I knew I had more to share with you guys. And so I feel like this podcast is kind of the extension of what I started in those Tip Tuesdays. So I'm so excited to share with you guys. But before we start, I wanted to kind of tell you what this pod is all about and see if it is for you. So I'm going to see if any of these scenarios sound familiar. So number one, you are a stay-at-home mom. You sacrifice so much of yourself for your family. Many of your goals and hobbies have been put on the back burner. And now you struggle to make any self-care a priority, let alone aspirations. Okay, here's another one, number two. Maybe you're a working mama. Your time is limited, but also very important. You want to make sure that your time, because it's valuable, is spent making quality connections with your loved ones and with yourself. And last, but definitely not least, number three, maybe you are a mother of teenagers or even an empty nester. You're starting to enter a new season of life that will offer you more opportunity to do things for yourself. But you wonder where to start in setting realistic goals and expectations going forward. If any of these scenarios sound familiar, I have what you need. There is a place for you here. And it's not just for mamas, but honestly, just as women in general. I think that there is so much demand for our time, and there's always something that demands our time and attention. So, now if you're like me, the pandemic was very eye-opening. Was a very eye-opening experience in that regard, right? It was filled with self-discovery for sure. The world all but stopped, and we had to figure out new ways to connect, to work, to stay active, all from home. It truly helped me to reevaluate what I wanted life to look like and what I wanted to prioritize. Maybe if you're like me, you even dabbled a little bit in those things. It might have been a business like me. It might have been a new hobby, a new exercise regime, a new style, a new way to connect with your loved ones, getting outside more. But now, as life continues to become more and more normal with each passing day, real life is starting to set back in. How do we allow those things in our life with less time? How do we make life look like those things that we desired? One of the experiences that makes me uniquely qualified to answer this question is that former at-home business I mentioned before. Let me start at the beginning. Back when I was working retail, now my retail window honestly is quite small, quite small. Most of my experience is in the food industry. So I had this little itty bitty window while I was putting my husband through college where I worked retail in a very, very small town in southeastern Idaho. And it was probably one of 2 or 3 stores in the town. If you and you had to travel half hour to get more options, right? To go to the nearest mall was a half hour away. But winters were really bad. So most of the time you're shopping at those 3 stores, right? And that means there will be repeat outfits, right? There will be more than one person rocking the same outfit on campus because it was a college town too. So it was fun though, because that's where I found a love of accessories. It was like the icing on a cupcake. It was a way to show outwardly who you were. And 2 women could be wearing the exact same outfit, which often happened, but it would look completely different because of the accessories and the jewelry that they were wearing with it. Fast forward a few years, I was now a stay-at-home mama with a 1-year-old on the brink of toddlerhood, right? That fun age where they're weaning off of, you're not breastfeeding as much, they're walking, they're not needing you as much anymore, right? That realization that toddlerhood is on the horizon is setting in. And there's a lot of good and a lot of bad to that, right? I began to realize how much of myself I had lost in that first year of parenthood. My sweet husband suggested maybe looking into doing an at-home business, not for supplemental income, not just for supplemental income. I honestly feel like I could have not made a dime, and as long as I was happy, he would have still supported me in that business. He was probably that's probably rare, honestly, in that industry. But it was really more for me. He saw what I hadn't yet, which is the ownership of something all my own outside of motherhood would be so beneficial. So I began to search and ended up running a $5 jewelry business from home for 5 years. Now that business brought a lot of hardship and sacrifice. No business comes without that. But more importantly, it brought a confidence and a connection that I couldn't have gained any other way. And I was able to do that at home. It helped me realize an important truth. You can you can even make yourself at home. So I hope that you will join with me weekly as the goal as we learn how to get back to what makes you sparkle, how to set realistic goals and expectations, how to improve the quality of your time, and embrace the fun and mistakes that come along the way. Check out my socials. I will be getting those up and running here. Probably make a dedicated account for just the podcast. But you'll definitely find everything on my personal pages as well, for reminders and just to connect with me if there's anything in particular that you want to share that you're learning about. I'd love, love, love for you to reach out. Until next time, have the best week.